everyone, my name is REDRUP, this is the It's Not a Phase podcast, and on this episode I'm joined by Every Hell frontman, Gardner. The band have just dropped their debut EP, Vertebrate, so we talk about that, recording it live to tape, using AI to help create their obscure artwork, writing songs on his saxophone, his other band Skin Failure, and loads more. Before we get into it, if you enjoy the podcast, then please consider taking a few seconds of your time to support it. You can hit subscribe or follow wherever you're checking this out so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. You can leave a review or a comment. You can give the podcast a follow on social media. And there's also a Patreon and there's a web store if you wanted to go one step further. You can find all the links to everything that I've just mentioned in the description of this episode, or you can head to itsnotaphase.co.uk. And for now, here's my chat with Gardner of Every Hell. What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me on this episode of the It's Not a Phase podcast, where I'm joined by Will of Every Hell. How's it going, man?
Hey, yeah, really good. A bit hectic today, but we finally made it after like 3 reshuffles. So it's really nice to be here. Yeah, exactly.
That's the only way you've got to do it to go through life, isn't it? So, speaking of being busy, you guys not long put out your debut EP, Vertebrate.
Yeah, man.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you.
How does it feel to finally have that collection of songs out there into the world?
Oh, so good. I mean, it's I've had worse waiting periods before with the old band Black Pigs. I think the first album we sat on it for like a year. It was like 18 months. It was like a year and a half from when we recorded it to when it came out, and it went around loads of different producers. And now to this, it was only really like 6 months or something. But it's so funny because you write so much more music in that period.
Yeah.
And by the time it comes out, it's not irrelevant, but it's like it feels old. It always feels old if you're still writing stuff. It's super nice to have out in the world and have people hearing what we're doing.
Yeah. And you had that Halloween launch show as well. How was that?
Oh, it was great. Really, really fun. We to be on theme, we got some like really, really good actually like pig and chicken masks. Just for the first song, until we all realised I realised I couldn't sing, and the other guys couldn't see what they were doing at all. For the first song, so I only managed one song, and that was kind of it.
Well, it would have been good for just the one song, wouldn't it? Just Halloween spirit, you know.
Exactly, yeah. But it was a great show. It was so fun. I just love playing at the moment. It's just we're really kind of in our stride at the moment. And really, it was kind of funny because we did that, and then we did the DZ Death Race show at Milton Keynes afterwards, and that was our last show for the year now. We got offered some more bits, but I'm having another baby in December, so that's cut off point now. It's like 3 weeks to go.
Wow, creeping fast.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are a relatively new band, so just kind of giving a quick brief look at the story. So you mentioned before you were in the band Black Peaks, and that disbanded in 2021. And then not long after, you formed another band called Skin Failure, and then obviously you've got Every Hell. So when did Every Hell come into the frame? Like, when did that band start?
Well, I was writing stuff for it from 2021 at the end of the second lockdown. I got all this kit together and started writing, and then it was really started. I was jamming a few of the riffs and song ideas and structures of my writing, and then I think early 2022 must have been, Jamie Lenman called us, me and Rob, me and Mark Roberts, and sent us an email saying, "Hey dudes, I really want to start some kind of crazy heavy band with Will playing saxophone and Mark playing drums, and like we can both sing and scream and stuff, and it was super cool." And we had one rehearsal.
Impersonation as well.
Not bad, is it? Yeah. We're really good mates, so we try and see each other when we can. We're good pals. But we had one rehearsal, wrote like half an album in one rehearsal. It was like super productive. Yeah, and then Jamie was basically like, "I hate this. It's like I'm not into democracy."
Oh god.
And it was like, this is the first time I've done a shared project since the old band, since Ruben. And he was like, "Yeah, I don't know how I feel." And then, but it was great writing. It was really fun. And then he was just not around. Just wasn't available. He was just super busy working on that last album of his. Ironically, which Mark at the same time was working, recording and mixing with him.
Right.
So, because our drummers produced Jamie, produced Black Peaks. Like, I've always worked with Mark as a producer, so it's super fun now working with him as a bandmate. He's an amazing dark horse of a drummer. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, and then basically Jamie left, and we were like, "Well, who are we going to get?" And we had all these ideas of different people, and then I called Andrew from the original Black Peaks lineup, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, I'm down." He's like, "I've been waiting patiently by my phone for 6 years, waiting for someone to call me up for bass duties," and that really sort of made the foundation of it. It's like I write a lot of the bass lines with Andrew. That's the real core of the sound, is bass and drums. Right. And then we write like saxophone hooks, and then I write the vocals over the bass parts. And then we had someone else in the band for a bit. It didn't quite work out on guitar and keys. And then after about 8 months, so a year ago, we found Toby, who's from Skin Favour as well. And that just sort of solidified the lineup, really. We were like, "Oh, this is it. This is how it's meant to be." Super easy writing, just like really fun, and just like melodic, and just how fast he is to catch up with the ideas that we all have, and how fast he kind of is the same speed that we write. I mean, we write incredibly quickly, and it's I mean, I'm a massive pain in the ass to work with. Because I'm like, oh, yeah. And after we've done that, we do this, and this, and this, and then we play a riff that goes like this, and then that'll be the end of the song. And everyone's like, "Oh, shut up!" Like, but because I write a lot of the structures and a lot of the foundations now of these songs. Right. I've got a lot of skin in the game. I think that's the expression. I'm quite bad with malaprops, but that's sort of part of the process now, and it's and I feel so involved in all the writing, and I think Toby's found his feet now with sort of the development of all of it, and how his role fits into it as sort of the sparkle princess that comes in over the top and adds all the sort of extra layers and the dissonance on top of the sort of sax, vocal, bass, drums foundation thing. But yeah, that's sort of us now. That's where we've got to in our writing thing, and we're writing our first album at the moment, which is going super well. It's like absolutely steaming by. It's it's
amazing.
great.
It's amazing. So yeah, obviously that takes us to where you are today, releasing the Vertebrate EP not too long ago. You've done some really interesting cover art for the EP and the singles as well. Talk to me about
There's
that.
a funny story there. Yeah, I mean, well, Mark's a graphic artist and graphic designer. He's been doing stuff for years. And I've always had ideas, but I've never had a platform or way of getting my ideas across until this much hated AI software came along. And, you know, before, to have even one of my ideas kind of processed would cost 500 quid to give to a graphic designer. They knock it up with software, and now I've got stuff I can literally you know, I can put it in, write out all my ideas in great detail, kind of stylize it, and then it can create these images. And because I made a comic for Skin Failure, and I'm making another comic book for the next Skin Failure album. So that's how it kind of started, is to have a comic book to go alongside that stuff. But then I got really inspired by, I think it's called Dead Improvisations or something. It's a channel on Instagram, and it's like really nasty, like monsters and creatures that all kind of morph and look like ghosts, and it's all kind of 70s cinema style. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get back into this now and learn how to make those things. I just think they're beautiful. I find it so inspiring, and I know so many people hate it as an art form, and like, but I just enjoy it. I enjoy making it, and Mark and I have found a really nice organic method where we kind of come up with the ideas visually together, like things like the mad morphing chickens, like those kind of things, and the horrible pigs. Often I'll send him the first frame picture that I made, and then he'll kind of like trace it, or be like, let's develop it and make it kind of change and different, and then I'll go, okay, cool, and it comes back to me, and then I'll have to put it into some more software, and then try and animate it and make it kind of develop and do something that, again, I just think it looks of a time, of now, and I feel it's really different to like the old AI or the old kind of CGI stuff, in that I like that it gets it wrong and it looks kind of shit already, and it will date badly, but I like that. I think that's good. I think it's of a time where it's not perfect yet, and it looks like a thing of now, you know. We're fine with it. I think we just really like it. It's kind of spasmodic and dark and disturbing, sort of, and it's just so nice to be able to do it ourselves. And then also Mark takes the final product, especially the images, and then he sort of hand traces it all, and then makes it, and then pulls it together, and then puts in, you know, things for posters and for like our album, like the t-shirt and the album artwork. We had all these other ideas that I've been working on for ages. That was like a nuclear farmland, like a sort of a wasteland farmyard, but with all these, the cows were like, the skin was deteriorating and stuff, and like, I mean, it was really good, but it was pretty disturbing. It was like actually quite, yeah, it was like, oh, I don't think people are going to like this very much. And then literally 4 days before we had to hand it in, we were like, right, let's go simple, kind of iconic, really simple image. And I said, why don't we just do like something around the spine idea? And he was like, okay, yeah, bear with me. And then he found like the couple of images, and then just put some of the eyes that I'd made for another goat creature and a mouth that I'd made from this other crow monster thing, and just kind of pulled it all together and put it on the thing. And we were like, oh my god, there it is. There, you know, it's one of those moments when everyone was like, yeah, that's amazing. That's it. That's the. It was funny as well because we weren't going to get it printed. We weren't going to get the album made into an LP. We were very like, oh, it's just an EP. People won't know it. And, you know, it's only 6 tracks, so there's no point. And then as soon as we got that artwork, I was like, oh my god, I want that on a vinyl.
Yeah.
You know, just that cover with that on it, and then the pink back, and then maybe the vinyl itself is just black, and then that image on the middle of it. You know, it's just one of those things when you see that thing, it's like, yeah, that's the identity of this EP and this music. It's like just he's so good, he's so clever. He's super. Just knows how to get done. I mean, it was really stressful for poor Mark putting that together. Like,
yeah, especially if you had such a short time frame into it. Like I said, you only had a few days.
Well, because we kept talking about it. This will be good, and working on the farmyard thing, but because it was just AI, it hadn't been adapted, and Mark was hand drawing it, but he was like, I don't really like how this is. And we kept going around in circles with ideas, and then he was just like, okay, give me an hour and I'm gonna come up with a thing, and then he did. So it was, we were very lucky to have a pro. He went to art college.
There you go. What did you use?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I believe the EP was also like tracked live into tape.
Yes.
So there was like little to no edits after whatever you tracked. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
How was that?
Basically, no edits. Like nothing's been taken out or tuned. Or the only thing that's been put in is Pete meticulously. Pete's our amazing engineer in the studio who owns Middle Forest Studios. So he. We just to get some BVs on some of the tunes, backing vocals, and I think maybe there's a bit of synth overlay and some like Nord, but he found the exact point and then cut the tape and then added in this extra little bit of tape that we made something else. So I mean, it's it's quite extraordinary. It's like super. I've never felt so pumped up when we were tracking. Just really like, yeah, we're doing it. This is it. And what was funny as well is that like I did do some overdub vocal. Like you can hear on some of the tracks, there's a little bit of overdub vocal. Like it's called like double tracking or quad tracking. But the takes, the main vocal take, the main choruses are that take with the guitars and bass. Like we listened to one thing as a whole and we were like, that's it, that was the one. And we only did like 5 or 6 tops. A couple of the songs we did 2 run-throughs and we were like, that was in the bag. Just know it, that was done. Second take, we were like, yeah, that's it. That was it. Yeah, it was pretty. I mean, I've done so much multi-tracking, like multi-tracked to death. To listen to every little syllable before, like the second Black Pizza record, doing vocal comping was I mean, it was amazing. It was like very, very, very detailed. It was trying to make a big studio, major label record. So it's what you do. But this is completely the other end of it, and being like, be ready, be on it, So amazing. And I think you really feel the energy of that sometimes in listening to it. I think it's got sort of a bit of that Converge, Torch, the Sword, like really aggy, raw energy to it. Yeah, which we're super proud of. We'll definitely do it again. At some point.
Were you apprehensive at all? Because obviously it's like organic as possible, but I guess there's potential blemishes if you're kind of doing it that way, because you've not got the studio magic.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's a good question. I mean, I wasn't. I just had this amazing thing where I felt really fit and healthy, and I was just so up for it at the time. And so was everyone else. And I think we felt really well rehearsed. And we only finished like one. There was only one little bit of arrangement that wasn't sorted, that we did in the studio. What was it? I think it was like a bass part in Ghost hadn't been fully realised, and there was one other bit in maybe Another Killer. But yeah, it was all just like we were there, we were prepped, we were ready to go, and it just really speaks volumes of everyone's musicianship, really, as well, and just how just out of the bag, ready to go, bang, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, that's good, isn't it? Like it's just like say it's ready to go. Like you were prepared. You kind of had to be to go in that way, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But it's no secret to fans that I mean, you mentioned before that you play saxophone, and I think when you were writing some of these songs, were you writing some of the bass of the songs on saxophone?
Yeah. A lot of that material, the original riffs were written with my sax going through quad cortex, so I've got loads of distortion, amp modeling to make it sound more like a guitar, but it's not really meant to sound like a guitar. It's meant to be more like a really aggy synth or something, like a singular sine wave buzzsaw kind of thing that works as riffs. I mean, it's also so the guys, when I bring them ideas, it's not just a 1931 bit of metal going or like actually it kind of, they can hear like, oh, that sounds like a heavy riff. But yeah, that, and then a lot of the chord structures, a lot of the kind of choruses and bits I wrote and brought in, like some of them, like Reverie, that plagued me for months. I just couldn't figure out what the chorus was going to do, and then woke up in the middle of the night one night and I was like, oh my god, I've got it, it's going to do this thing, and I make loads of voice memos and whatever. But yeah, it's been so fun. I mean, I write stuff all the time at the moment, just writing. I can't stop, really. It's good. Once that tap's open, it's like
yes, that's true.
But yeah, they make it. They turn it into songs, because I've just got singular bass line, bum 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 bum, all that kind of stuff that I'm playing in sax, and sometimes you give it to the bass and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
Just
I
doesn't,
imagine sometimes it
doesn't
just doesn't
translate.
translate.
Yeah. That's happened a few times, but that's part of it's part of the magic.
I think the band Billy Talent, Ian Dessar, their guitarist, he writes all of their like music on a piano, and then he has to try and translate it like through like band, and it has all these like weird chord shapes and progressions and stuff because he does it that way. But yeah, it's really interesting.
Wow, that's super cool. Yeah, that is super interesting.
So you've obviously retained saxophone in some of the songs there as well. How do you kind of like do that live then? Like, is it like difficult pacing yourself vocally to then obviously do the saxophone and sing as well?
No, it's kind of fun actually. It's I mean, it is. When we first started gigging, I was like, oh wow, this is a ball ache. But I always try and write the lines, the kind of like key, what I'd call like the hooks for the sax, the like, sort of melody synth line bits. I always try and write them so they are there's like a gap of like a few beats so I can breathe and then do the next line. That's always kind of factored in my head, but sometimes not. Sometimes it's very, very quick. Sometimes it's like and there's a bit in the Watcher actually, the second, which is it's really tough. It's like there's a look what you've done, making a mess, and then I guess I'll never be dead, and then there's like a back into the hook, straight into the hook, and then there's like a well, guess I'll never be dead, and then it's straight back into the singing again. That bit, like, especially if I'm running up and down the stage or whatever, doing it, it's really like also on my pedals, like muting the sounds and whatever. It's quite.
You gotta get your breath control in order.
Exactly.
But obviously, you also mentioned briefly that your project, Skin Failure. What's going on with that at the moment?
Well, we just finished our second album. Literally, as we were talking, then the producer just sent through a thing saying, "Here's the latest run-through mixes. I'm doing one more mix on the 1st of December or something." Then that's done. But I mean, we've just got to play some gigs we've got to raise about another grand to get artwork done and mastering. So I mean, that album might come out towards the end of next year, but it's just expensive, time consuming. Doing it all super DIY, but people are going to love that record. It's really, really, really good. It's really good. We're all so proud of it. It's just takes time to get it all together and get it kind of sorted. And we are slightly more skid failure sometimes. So yeah, it's hard to get things moving sometimes. But I can't wait to hear those mixes. Actually, it's going to be wicked.
New music on the way. That sounds exciting, man. How do you kind of go about balancing the needs of the two bands? Like, how does that work on your side, like personal time management and stuff?
I mean, we do. They never clash, and I think the way that it's just accidentally sort of fallen in, they're both sort of in and out of cycle. If people know about the way the industry sort of works with, writing, making a record, and then touring it. So now Skin Failure is like out of cycle. We've just written a record, we're finishing getting that done, and then we'll start promoting that and putting that stuff out next summer.
Right.
By which time Every Hell will have done a couple of singles and we'll be playing, but they kind of won't overlap. They're always chasing each other's tails. So I'm always kept nice and busy and happy. And yeah, I mean, that second album for us came with Skinfit. It came together so fast. It was pretty amazing, really. It felt like 8 months or something. We just slammed through every rehearsal with like 1 or 2 songs.
Right.
We're like, oh, let's go make an album. But yeah, and then with Every Hell, we're writing. We're going to record a couple of singles, like I say, in kind of March time, and then we're writing album 1 for Every Hell all the time. A long demo writing session next week in a proper studio, which I just love. I love it. It's like one of my favourite things to do. It's one of the best bits of the whole process is when you've got loads of little bits of ideas, and then you all get together. You've got a headphone mix, so you can all hear what everyone's doing really well. And you keep jamming, but at any point you can press record, so you can get the real gold bits of the ideas. Excuse me, and capture it. And then hopefully we'll come away with, I mean, we've got like 6 tracks, then probably another 7 skeletons, and even a couple that we've recorded already, but we're going to rework them and make them better. So yeah, it's coming along super well, super fast. But we're not on a rush. We want to make a really good first album that we all feel will be part of. Yeah, but I love posh demos. I can listen to posh demos all day.
Do you get anything out of one band that you don't get out of the other, and vice versa, you think?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm very much like a free and easy singer in Skin Failure, and I like annoy the shit out of the other guys with arranging, and I was like, oh, let's try this, but it's a bit more like, yeah, cool, Will, you're a vocalist, like, shut up. But it's really fun playing with Skin Failure because I can just run around and just do my singing thing, and it's thrash, it's fun, it's silly, we've got a whole kind of F you, give the middle finger attitude with that band. That's a big part of our vibe. Everyone loves it. If people get it, it's like, you know. So that feels that. So I just love thrash. I love heavy music, like super heavy music, and like it's kind of like proggy, chaotic thrash. And we do all of that in Bristol, and it means, you know, I get to have a break from being a dad for a couple of days at a time and go down and be silly with those guys and just get stuck into crazy riff land. And then Every Hell's very different. It's like you know, sort of pop party grunge bangers that we all write together, but I write a lot more of it, and you know, there's the sax thing as part of it, and it scratches a totally different itch for me. Again, like, so fun. We've been getting really tight recently, and getting so, you know, like together, feeling like a real unit. Which has been so cool. And hopefully we'll be doing lots of festivals all sorts of stuff next year, which would be awesome. But they definitely scratch different itches, and we'll do different things. Like, you know, Skin Failure gets into the metal thing, and gets to support and play with like metal bands and really heavy bands. That's awesome. And then you know, every hell we get to play with cool kind of post-punk bands and more like poppy stuff, and you get the radio play, and we get to play to a bit of a more wider audience with that, and it kind of slots in all sorts of different places. I think it's interesting as well because Every Hell's definitely taken longer to establish who the audience is, and it's not necessarily the Black Peaks fans at all, which is very interesting. Really, really, really interesting. And that's, you know, if people who like that band before like it, then that's wicked if they get it. But I think we're still, I mean, it's picking up pace very fast. It's wicked, picking up and it's really, really quick. It's just brilliant. Very lucky to have the platform that we have. But yeah, I'm just waiting for those like Mastodon, Torch, maybe even like Biffy fans to kind of find Every Hell and be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is interesting. This is kind of noisy and like fast paced and like whoa, and a bit proggy, and it's just getting to those people and seeing if they get it and it clicks. Because I mean, Black Peaks was a funny one. That took so long for people to get it. We were Shrine for like a good 3 or 4 years, and we toured and toured and toured and toured. We toured with all these different little bands across the UK, and so often, and then we got lucky and we got a really, really good agent who put us in front of thousands and thousands of people. But so often people were just like, what are you doing? So it's something that I'm very, and then it kind of clicked with thousands of people with like Saviour, I think that single just like blew it up. And I think it's it just takes a little longer sometimes. So we're very used to that, and it's just, you just go out and play because you want to play, and if people get it, that's great, and if they don't get it, then that's also fine. You know, people want to listen to what they want to listen to, man, and I think it will, I really think it will click for a lot of people at some point, but maybe we're yet to write those 2 or 3 songs that people are like, right, you're this thing, and like kind of get the sound, because the EP is very varied as well, you know, and it's all sort of, it's all different vibes and angles and sort of tempos, but we're always going to do that. We're always just going to write what comes to us, whatever vibe that is. But yeah, long rant.
Well, you mentioned something there that's a bit interesting. So, are you seeing much crossover from the Black Peaks fan base into those 2 bands then? Because I guess you'd get like some bands like
now that we're out playing,
because they know you from Black Peaks, right? So
yeah, definitely, especially from the like the last few Every Hell shows that we've done. There's been quite a lot of people coming down. But there's also a big contingent of brand new people that have found it as its own thing, which is super sick, and that's almost like, it's nice to have both. Like just any people that come to the show, we're always grateful for. You know, like,
you'll get people there that were fans of Black Peaks. I imagine you might even have people there who are like, I didn't like Black Peaks at all, but this stuff I'm really into. So
yeah, we've very much had that. I mean, our guitarist Toby's like famously tells me all the time, it's like, I really didn't like your old band. I'm like, cool, nice, great, wicked, thanks mate. And then now a few times recently he's been like kind of getting into it a bit, and I'm like, great, I don't care. But he loves trolling people a lot. Yeah, he's a troll. But yeah, I think There's definitely been a lot of people that have went into the old thing as much and are now digging this. And it's I'm super easy with all of it. I'm just grateful that people are listening and people are getting involved when we play, that they come to the shows and check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. But 2 bands aren't enough of an itch to scratch for you, because you also do like jazz shows, don't you? So how's that going?
The jazz shows and stuff is my job. So my main professional working musician type thing is I play all over Brighton, I play all over the world, doing corporate events and regular little jazz gigs, doing 40s and 50s music, sometimes 30s and 20s music. It's good. It's actually been a really good year now. Last year was tough, and year before as well. Awful. It just took such a long time for work to kind of pick up. I do that, and I'm a vocal tutor as well. I've got a few spaces at the moment as well. If people want to hit me up on Instagram and all that, feel free. I'm a professional vocal coach as well, so that keeps me very, very busy, on top of being a dad, soon to be a dad of 2 as well, which is crazy. I'm only 37. Thank you. Yeah, I'm only 37. I'm only little. I know I'm middle-aged, but that's fine. I feel like I'm young middle-aged.
Yeah. You just like to stay busy, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, what else have you got planned for the rest of 2024 so far? Well, I mean, there's not much of 2024 left, and 2025.
No. Yeah, I mean, the main thing, like I said earlier, I'm super, super looking forward to Every Hell big writing demo album session. We've got 2 full days. We might even have a little band sleepover as well. So get a big chunk of the album demoed and in process, and kind of so then I can take that back and write actual songs at home. I can't wait for that. And then it's all kind of curtains to new phase for me from early December, having a new baby, and then we'll jump back into the studio sort of mid-January, once I've refigured out my life a little bit and what it's going to be like having 2 children. So that's the rest of the year. I think the guys are probably going to do more writing sessions mid-December, early January. But yeah, I've just got lots of work, lots of like weddings, end of November as well. Playing jazz, singing, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'll be winding down teaching end of December, I think too. So yeah, it's gonna be great. Really looking forward to next year. I think it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I think you've already got like some festivals, but haven't you? Like I think Every Hell's got a Noise Fest.
Yeah, and Strange Forms. I think that's in July. I think there's a few other bits that are not announced yet, and we're going to be doing a bunch of headline shows and some joint headline tours. We'll be on tour at least 3 or 4 times next year. Hopefully hitting Europe in June. So just watch the space for all that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. Really appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. So much fun. So lovely.
Any final words before I let you go? Enjoy the rest of your day.
This is where I should have something really interesting. Okay. Yeah. You don't always have to think of chords as the whole block of chords. Sometimes you can just think about them as the bass line or the bass note of the chords, and then all the stuff around it is just decoration. someone very cool taught me that a very long time ago, and it's sort of one of the principles of how I write and record music. Yeah.
You're passing that
There
knowledge
you
on.
go. That's my final word. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks again. Really great to speak to you.
Pleasure.
Hopefully I'll catch you when either Every Hell or Skin Fader comes through Manchester. And
yes,
we're definitely
going to Manchester next year.
Awesome. I'll come to one of the shows and I'll get you a pint or something. Yeah.
We'd love that.
Awesome, dude.
Cheers, mate.
See you later, dude.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
And that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in to It's Not a Phase. If you enjoyed this episode, then don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Leave a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Follow the podcast on social media. And maybe even join the Patreon or grab some merch from the store. You can find everything that you need at itsnotaphase.co.uk. That's itsnotaphase.co.uk. Thanks again. Hopefully catch you on the next one. And remember, it's not a phase, it's a lifestyle.